Energy medicine is something we're very interested in here at HealingQuest.
Well, we like the fact that it can help us avoid things like pharmaceutical drugs and invasive surgery, and also give us more control over our own health.
And that's exactly the goal of a trailblazing physician you're about to meet.
Dr. Jerry Tennant doesn't look like a revolutionary until you hear what he has to say about a radically different approach to health and wellness. He's talking about energy medicine.
It empowers each of us to take control of our health and keep ourselves well.
For more than 30 years, Dr. Tennant was one of the nation's top eye surgeons. He holds numerous patents on surgical instruments and other medical devices, and he did much of the basic research into the laser that's now used in LASIK surgery. But in 1995, a bout with encephalitis left him unable to work and incapacitated for most of the day.
The best doctors I could find said, well, you have 3 viruses in your brain. We don't know what to do about it, so good luck. So I began to read cellular biology books to see if I could figure out how to make things work again.
Jerry Tennant's healing quest led him to conclude that his basic problem was a lack of voltage or energy at the cellular level.
If I didn't correct the energy of my body, I'd never get well because I couldn't make new cells. Chronic disease occurs when we lose the ability to make new cells at work. And one of the bases of making new cells is having enough voltage to do it.
Dr. Tennant was able to restore proper voltage to his cells and make a complete recovery, and that in turn led him to focus on energy medicine.
Energy medicine is the oldest form of medicine. The oldest medical books we have are 5,000 years old, and they speak of acupuncture in China and Ayurvedic medicine in Tibet. And of course, some younger books are from Egypt. And it recognizes that everything that happens in the universe is about energy.
One result of Dr. Tennant's research was a book called Healing is Voltage, describing his findings in detail. Another result was the development of a device to measure energy at the cellular level and add voltage where it's needed. The Bio Modulator uses acupuncture meridians, which Dr. Tennant calls bioterminals, to deliver microcurrents to organs where the voltage is low.
What you're trying to do is to get electron transfer from the device down to the acupuncture wires under the skin.
The device has a number of attachments and has FDA acceptance for treating chronic, post-traumatic, or post-surgical pain. Success has also been reported in reversing macular degeneration. In Irving, Texas, Freda Benton says Dr. Tennant's energy medicine changed her life.
I was an environmental engineer for almost 20 years. I had my own environmental company, and which involved doing inspections on old buildings. Of course, obviously, you get into a lot of nasty situations and other environmental chemicals or whatnot. And then in November of 2007, my husband and I had taken our 2 young boys to Carlsbad Cavern, and I began experiencing terrible headaches. I thought I had a sinus infection. The next morning I woke up and I couldn't see anything. I had lost all my vision entirely. I had 2 surgeries, 7 injections in my eye for almost a year, and my sight just never returned. It was just continually getting worse. And so a friend of mine suggested that she take me to her doctor, Dr. Tennant. He began giving me treatment with the biomodulator and other energy. He explained his principle, which was basically that your body is a big battery and it needs to be charged. And it just made total sense to me after I started. And within a month, I was able to start seeing. And I've been able to see now, not as good as I did beforehand, but I mean, after all, I had 3 or 4 surgeries and 7 injections in my eyes. But at least I can now read and I can drive. And, I make my own websites and I don't have any problems.
Maxie McFadden came to Dr. Tennant for help with healing a broken bone.
I broke my 5th metatarsal on my left foot. I twisted it and resulted in broken foot. And so I had the transducer and the biomodulator, and I was able to use that to help it heal. The first doctor that I saw wanted to do surgery and put a pin in or screw, and I didn't want to do that. So I was able to heal it just perfectly with the transducer and the biomodulator and the soreness oil, and I didn't have to take any pain medications.
Dr. Tennant's focus on cellular health has also led him to include a number of other elements in his approach to healing. One of those is nitric oxide.
We all understand that every cell needs oxygen to work. And in reality, a primary control of oxygen availability in the body is nitric oxide. But until just a few years ago, physicians had no way to measure it because it's a very fast disappearing gas, until Dr. Nathan Bryan at the Heart Institute in Houston developed a simple little dipstick thing that you can use to test it. Once you know that you're deficient, then Dr. Bryan has created a little tablet that's very much like a sweet tart, and you simply put it on your tongue and let it dissolve, and it will correct your nitric oxide levels.
Dr. Tennant says other critical ingredients for cellular health are humic and fulvic acids.
Now, fulvic has the role of controlling what goes into and out of cell membranes. So without humic and fulvic, our bodies don't work the way they're designed to work. Taking humic and fulvic solves all sorts of problems and gets us back to the way we were designed to work.
But he says not all humic fulvic supplements are created equal.
And the reason that I use Mother Earth Labs is that they are, as far as I can find, the only company that processes theirs in an FDA-certified laboratory or manufacturing facility, and they guarantee the parts per million.
Dr. Tennant says the water we drink is also a critical issue.
You want the water that you drink to be alkaline, which means it has electrons in it. Secondly, you want it to be clean, and that's harder to find because what we find is that most of our tap water contains all of the medications that all of our friends and neighbors are taking, and there are systems that will take those out, but it's not done by our city. Chlorine is another problem. Chlorine, like fluoride, is damaging to tissue. And finally, it has to do with cluster size. The larger the clusters are, the harder it is to get through cell membranes and into the cell. So if you have water that has microclusters in it, that is small clusters of these H2O things, then it can easily get into the cell. And indeed, the best water I can find is from systems made by a company called pH Prescription.
And he has some pointed opinions about improving health for all of us.
It's imperative that each person begin to take responsibility for themselves, and by simply making better, educated, informed choices on what we put into our bodies, namely in the way of food and water, and by having the ability to understand a different paradigm that we can measure the voltage in our body and determine which organs are beginning to have problems making new cells to repair themselves, we have the ability then to take control of our own future and our health at a very inexpensive way. With all of our resources, we should be the happiest, healthiest people on the planet, and we're not, but we could be.
As we said at the beginning of this report, Dr. Tennant is very serious about empowering everyone to take control of their own health.
Now, I understand that both the women you interviewed are using his approach to help their families.
Right. Both Freda and Maxie say they use the biomodulator as a first line of defense for everything from pulled muscles to more serious injuries. The basic unit cost about $2,500, but both of them told me it's the best investment they've ever made for not only themselves, but also for their families.
So how many biomodulators are in use now?
I think there's thousands, not only in the U.S., but also overseas. In fact, Freda Benton, who we met in Texas, has a nonprofit medical clinic built by a group called Just Us Friends. The clinic serves poor children in Tanzania, and she says the staff there uses the biomodulator to help with everything from bug bites to malaria.
If you want details on Dr. Tennant and his healing voltage approach, we have the link for you at www.healingquest.tv.